Hi, welcome back to my channel. It's Emma. I hope you're doing fantastically well. Like the title of this video says, this is going to be a book haul from 15 different countries all over the world, and I'm really excited to get into them. I bet you're also excited. I also hope you're well rested for this video, but if not, please let me take a couple minutes to thank the sponsor of today's video, Helix Sleep. So what is Helix Sleep? If you've never heard of them, they are a premium mattress in a box company that specializes in creating mattresses designed to fit your unique sleep preferences, your style. Ordering a Helix Sleep mattress is super easy because you just go online, fill out the Helix Sleep quiz, which outlines your preferred bed size, your sleep position, your mattress firmness, and many more personalized preferences you can choose from. So based on my results, Helix did match me with their Midnight Luxe mattress. It personalized based on the fact that I am a back and a side sleeper. I actually sleep with my arms just straight above my head like this, like I kid you not. On the scale, they also paired me with the medium firmness, which is nice because I don't like it too soft, I don't like it too hard, I like it just right. If you have been following my apartment problems, or apparently like the 7 plagues of the apartment, you'll know that I've been out of a bed for a very long time and also out of a whole bedroom, but that's a whole other story. So getting this Helix mattress and like sleeping on it for the first time, I think my spinal cord like cried out in happiness. Tears were just falling down all of my spinal columns. Tears of happiness. The Midnight Luxe mattress just offers me so much more support than I was previously getting. Definitely gives me way more support than any university counseling session I've ever been to. So for mattress size, I got the queen, which is really nice because I've never had a queen bed, and so finally my mattress size matches my occupation. If you do get a Helix Sleep mattress, you get a 100-night sleep trial along with a 10-year warranty. If you are a bit hesitant about ordering a mattress online, because I had never done that before, they do give you that 3-month completely free, and if you aren't satisfied at the end of the 3 months, they will actually pick it up for you. But if you do decide to keep it, and if you are ordering one, they do deliver right to your door within the US completely free of charge. And this one was a really fun one because I always see those mattresses in boxes and then you like open the box and it just goes like poof. So if you would like to get yourself a new mattress, treat your spinal cord right, you can click on the link below, or you can go to helixsleep.com/Emmy for up to $200 off whatever mattress you choose, as well as 2 free pillows. 2 free pillows. All right, so now that I am well rested, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to talk about these books. Let's dive right in. Seriously, thank you so much to Helix for making today's video possible for you guys. So let's get into this big stack of books that I'm balancing on my legs, and let's get into it. So like I said, we have 15 countries. I'm gonna do a lot of these videos. My goal is of course to show you guys and read for myself a book from every single country. That's something I've been doing a little bit this year. I've kind of made 2021 the year that I want to start that goal, even though of course in the past I've already read books from numerous countries, as we do, but I started from fresh in 2021, and so this book haul is going to go towards that goal of reading a book from every single country. So I tried to space these out kind of all over the globe, and of course by the end of this video, please I would love you guys to comment which countries you would love to see in the next video, so that the next one can be kind of catered to your requests. So, and I also want to say a huge thank you because a lot of these were from your guys' recommendations as well, so I will try to, if I remember, I will try to shout you out and say thank you so much for giving me these recommendations. So let's just get started. First up, Kenya. We have Devil on the Cross by Ngugi wa Thiong'o. This one is gonna be so good. This one was recommended by a bunch of you guys, so thank you so much. I cannot wait to read this. I was actually going through a lot of Ngugi wa Thiong'o's just like list because he has a lot of books. He is a Kenyan writer, and Devil on the Cross, first of all, just the way that it was written really pulled me in, because this book was actually written in secret while he was imprisoned, and it was written in secret on toilet paper. That's how it first came about, which was just, yeah. And more than that, we are following a woman in Devil on the Cross, and she moves from her kind of rural village in Kenya and she comes to the capital, Nairobi, to find work. And she does. And she's happy about it, but almost as soon as she starts, she realizes that she is dealing with a super corrupt businessman. So ultimately, Devil on the Cross becomes about how Western capitalist ideas are now overrunning Kenya, and seeing how this really affects everyday people like the woman we're following in this book. We watch her as she gets exploited time and time again by her boss, and I believe she eventually comes to realize that her problems are only symptoms of a larger societal malaise. I think this is just going to be incredible. Can I read you guys the first sentence of them? I never know. Do you guys like that or do you not like that? Because I think it's super interesting. It begins, certain people in Ilmarog, our Ilmarog, told me that this story was too disgraceful, too shameful, that it should be concealed in the depths of everlasting darkness. I know he has so many good books. I almost got so many other ones and I can't wait to read more. This is definitely going to be my first book from Kenya though that I read, which I'm so excited about. So that is Devil on the Cross. All right, next up we have South Korea, some South Korean literature. We have Untold Night and Day by Bae Swa. I've been meaning to read this book for over a year now. It's like been on my list for a year now. So this is just an absolutely gorgeous cover, gorgeous cover as well. I got this one off Book Depository, so I think this one might be the UK cover. Yeah, I just love like the shimmering kind of holographic silver there. So cool. So this one really captured my eye because it sounded so strange. This tale unfolds over, I think, one day and one night. It's summer, it's extremely hot. We're set in Seoul and we're following our protagonist named Kim Ayami, and she has just finished working on the night that this book begins at Seoul's only audio theater for the blind. So she closes up her shop and then she immediately heads out with her boss because they are searching for their missing friend. So this kind of searching for their missing friend takes them on this super strange, I've heard it compared to like kind of a fever dream adventure through the streets of Seoul and stuff like that. She encounters a visiting poet, a man who is not as he seems, and the world's order gives way to chaos and the edges of reality start to fray. This one is very much, I think, about the past kind of burbling and bubbling and gushing up into the present and like how much of reality is affected by that and stuff, which is so interesting. And yeah, very excited to read Untold Night and Day. So this is the one I would love to read this year, hopefully, for South Korea. So this one was translated from the Korean by Deborah Smith, and the first chapter begins, the former actress Ayami was sitting on the second flight of stairs in the audio theater with the guest book in her hand. All right, so we're now gonna take our flight from South Korea to Norway, and this is also a book I've been meaning to read for a long time. I finally bought it for myself, which is amazing. It's also a gorgeous cover. It is The Ice Palace by Tarje Besos. This is, oh, it's gonna be so good. This seems like it's gonna be the shortest little punch packing book. It's gonna freeze my cold frozen heart, and it's just gonna be amazing. So this one we are set in a kind of isolated Norwegian fjords, and we're following two friends, two girls who have quite recently developed quite an intense friendship, and their names are Un and Cease. The school children call it the Ice Palace, a frozen waterfall transformed into a fantastic structure of translucent walls, sparkling towers, and secret chambers. So these two girls go exploring into this frozen waterfall, and unfortunately one of them gets lost and doesn't come back. So now the other girl is coping with her disappearance and very much descending into the icy world of grief and of her own kind of frozen wasteland, very much as her friend went missing into like this frozen waterfall. So I've heard Tarje Besos' writing is just so incredibly blunt, subtle, to the point, but also so tragic and compelling. This one is translated by Elizabeth Roken, and it begins chapter 1, a young white forehead boring through the darkness. An 11-year-old girl. So that is some Norwegian literature. We've got The Ice Palace. Next we have a book that everyone has been screaming at me and thinks that I will love, and I think so too, because this came in the mail. It's an also really gorgeous edition, and I just started like flicking through it, and it was just so gorgeous, like very much fragmented little pieces of poetry and prose and just sparkling beauty. So our contender for Portuguese literature in this haul is going to be The Book of Disquiet by Fernando Pessoa. So excited. If you can see, this is such a stunning copy. I think this is the Serpent's Tail edition, and it has like little flecks of gold and sparkle in the cover. Oh my goodness. So Pessoa never completed his Book of Disquiet. He actually like didn't want to complete it. I think he called it like an act of cowardice to finish writing this book, but essentially these are kind of diary entries celebrating Lisbon, I think mostly in the 1930s. And we have Pessoa kind of taking on the guise of this diary writer, various diary writers in here, people who are writing journals about what's going on in the streets of Lisbon and just like celebrating life there in this time period, in this location. So it was first published altogether in 1982 after It was like painstakingly melded together from these little pieces of things that he would write and leave in a box. So all these manuscripts were eventually pieced into the Book of Disquiet. This one begins, installed on the upper floors of certain respectable taverns in Lisbon can be found a small number of restaurants or eating places, which have the stolid, homely look of one of those restaurants you see in towns that lack even a train station. When you flip through this book, it's just like little pieces and various like puzzle pieces that fit into this whole book of impressions. It's like very much a huge modernist text, and just everyone screams about Pessoa all the time. So excited. So Portugal, here we are. Thank you. All right, next up we have Nigeria, and we have Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe. I have heard so much about this. I've read The Second Coming by W.B. Yeats, which is where this book gets its title from. Things Fall Apart, the center cannot hold. I remember studying that in uni, and then I have heard of this because it's uber famous, but I hadn't really known what it's about. So Chinua Achebe wrote Things Fall Apart about this warrior named Okonkwo, and he is gathering so much fame because he's the best fighter, he's the best warrior, things are going great for him, but then he accidentally kills one of his clansmen and he is exiled. And things begin to fall apart. So he goes into exile after accidentally killing someone he wasn't supposed to, and when he comes back from exile, he discovers that things are so different because during the time that he was gone, all of these missionaries and colonial governors have arrived in his village, invaded it, installed themselves, and are now there as these like parasitic fixtures. So he is back, and his whole world, where he's from, his relationship with everyone he knows is just completely different and changed. The back says it's an arresting parable of a proud but powerless man witnessing the ruin of his people. And recently I found out, I didn't really know that this was a trilogy, right? Because it continues in Arrow of God and No Longer at Ease. So the first chapter begins, Okonkwo was well known throughout the 9 villages and even beyond. And this is the Penguin Modern Classics edition, and so was the Ice Palace, if you guys are wondering. So that is Nigeria. All right, this book I am currently reading. I'm a little bit more than halfway through, and it's gonna be like 5 stars. It's gonna be 5 stars. It's gonna be one of my favorite reads of the year and probably of all time. And that is Frankenstein in Baghdad by Ahmed Sadawi. Wow. If you can see the insane dog earring that has been happening here. I wasn't sure if I wanted to tab this or not because it was like my first read through of this. I wasn't really sure what to expect, but I really should have agreed to try tabbing it because now like almost every page is dog-eared. So Frankenstein in Baghdad is a retelling of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, and when you put Shelley's Frankenstein in the context of like 2005 Baghdad, the power that this story takes on, and like it's just blowing me away. It's just blowing me away, as you can imagine. This book is just so brilliant. I'm gonna try to tell you a little bit more than the synopsis on the back, but also a little bit less, because I think if you go into Frankenstein in Baghdad, there's like a bit that I wouldn't want to know, and like it's just one of those books that you have to kind of go into. One of the first things as well I want to say is that this is translated by Jonathan Wright. I don't think it's the best translation in the world, honestly. A lot of it feels awkward and stilted. It kind of feels like Frankenstein's monster's body feels. Like it feels like a jumble of parts that are clunky and aren't really working together smoothly. So I don't know if there's any other translations. I imagine not, but I would love to know if there is, because I don't think it's the best translation in the world. So I'm really trying to ignore that and focus on the story, which is just so compelling. I cannot seem to put this down. It's just incredible. So like I said, we are following a variety of people who are living in Baghdad. The story opens with this elderly woman named Elishfa, and she is waiting for her son Daniel to come back because he was taken away to fight. Her daughters have all moved out of Iraq, and she's all alone waiting for her son Daniel to return, even though everyone around her just assumes him to be dead. Also living in the kind of broken down second floor attachment to Elishfa's house is this man named Hadi. And Hadi is essentially our Victor in Frankenstein in Baghdad. What he's doing is going around after attacks, explosions, anything that is wrecking the city of Baghdad and killing these innocent people, and he is taking body parts from these people and he is stitching them, as you can imagine, into one person, and his goal is for these people who have been killed in the city to be recognized as people, and to be given a proper burial, and for the government to see what is going on to these innocent people. We also follow a reporter, we have a hotel manager, we have just a whole cast of characters. It is just brilliant. Like, the ideas in this book, and what Ahmed Sadawi does with like Frankenstein, I might be enjoying my time in this one even more than Mary Shelley's version, which is brilliant, but like this is just blowing my mind. It's just incredible, so hard-hitting. It's like, it's just affecting me so much, and I just didn't know what to expect going into this book, but it is just incredible, 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 incredible. So that is a rock. Wow. Let's go to Japan. We have Confessions of a Mask by Yukio Mishima. At this time, I have a lot of Mishima on my shelves. Have not read any of him. I know. This one was a gift from a subscriber, so thank you so much, Michael. I don't know where do I start with him? I have The Sailor Who Fell from Grace with the Sea, I have Thirst for Love, and I have Confessions of a Mask. Confessions of a Mask is another kind of modern Japanese classic. In this one, we have a man who is really struggling because Mishima's protagonist in this one discovers that he is becoming a homosexual in a polite post-war Japan, and to survive, he kind of adopts this mask of propriety. I believe this is a tragedy. I don't know anything about Mishima's writing. I know a little bit about his life, but I just don't know which one I should start with, because I know he has so many incredible novels that everyone loves and adores. So yeah, this one is translated by Meredith Weatherby from Japanese, and chapter 1 begins, "For many years I claimed I could remember things seen at the time of my own birth." Yeah, but that is Confessions of a Mask from Japan. All right, we will now be embarking on a very long flight from Japan to Italy. We have If on a Winter's Night, a Traveler by Italo Calvino. So many people have told me to read this book as well. I think this is one that I'm really going to enjoy because this one does some crazy, weird, wacky things. This book begins by letting you know that you are reading If on a Winter's Night, a Traveler, the book you're holding in your hands by Italo Calvino, and it just takes this very it just takes the fourth wall, will astound you. But this is not one novel, this is in fact 10 contained in these two covers. They each have a different plot, a different style, ambience, an author, and each is interrupted at a moment of suspense. So like they're cut off and then they slide into the next one. So I love postmodernism. Together they form a labyrinth of literatures, known and unknown, alive and extinct, through which two readers, a male and a female, pursue both the storylines that intrigue them and one another. This one's translated from the Italian by William Weaver, and this one does begin. You are about to begin reading Italo Calvino's new novel, If on a Winter's Night, a Traveler. So yeah, I just think this is gonna be crazy. I'd love to read more. I know If on a Winter's Night, a Traveler is his most famous, but yeah. I'm like scared, but I'm also just so excited about this one, so there we go. So we're gonna make a pit stop in Mexico, and we have Hurricane Season by Fernanda Melchor. I'm so excited. I first heard this one over from Tanya at Bookish Topics because she was talking about it, and this was shortlisted actually quite recently for the 2020 International Booker Prize, which is so exciting. And then this was actually given to me as a gift from a subscriber, so thank you so much, Raul. I cannot wait to read this. This one sounds absolutely horrifying. We are set in a small village and there is a witch, except now the witch is dead. The people there discover her corpse, and now everyone is investigating like what's going on, how did she die, why is the witch dead. One of the other things I know about this book is that it's just like unreliable narrator city. I love it. I love unreliable narrators so much. I think it's so fascinating, and so like this one we have a whole host of them as they try to take over this narrative and tell you their own point of view and try to make you as the reader, I think, convinced of what they think happened to the witch and what's going on in this village and stuff like that, which is just gonna be crazy and probably just like so mind messing. This one is compared on the back to Bolaño's 2666 or William Faulkner's novels. It says it takes place in a world saturated with myths and violence, real violence, the kind that seeps into the soil, poisoning everything around it. A world that becomes more and more terrifying the deeper you explore it. So, I'm so excited. This one's translated from the Spanish by Sophie Hughes. Thank you so much, Sophie Hughes. I'm so excited. This one also begins with a quote from Yeats, which is really cool because so did Things Fall Apart. Chapter 1 begins, "They reached the canal along the track leading up from the river, their slingshots drawn for battle, and their eyes squinting, almost stitched together in the midday glare." So, that is Mexico. I'm so excited for that one. Oh my gosh. All right, next up we have Denmark, some Danish literature. We have One of Us is Sleeping by Josephine Klugart. This was also sent to me, so thank you so much. I had never heard of this one before, but I like took a little sneak peek at the back and I saw Anne Carson's name and I freaked out and I was like, well, I will love this. This is a novel about loss and grief because I believe we have a mother who is dealing with cancer and then we have the daughter who returns home to take care of her mom, to look after her. But during the same time, she gets into this super intense love affair. So I think that's mostly what One of Us is Sleeping about, is her recounting to us like this love affair, what happened, what went down, the details of it and stuff like that, as well as the grief and disillusionment that follows its end. The book's striking imagery and magnificent prose underpin its principal theme, the jarring contrast between the recollection of stability, your parents, your childhood home, your love, and all of the endings that we go through in our lives, everything that comes to an end, when previously there was no end. It was stability, we had it, and then we grow up and it's gone. So I think this is going to be just so crushing. It says it works in the same way as Anne Carson. This one's translated from the Danish by Martin Aitken, and it begins, "The light comes creeping in over the plowed fields." So this is also a really beautiful copy. I think this is the open letter edition. Look at this. And this one is also part of the Danish Women Writers series, which is super cool. So I should definitely check out the rest of them because this is just gorgeous. And then the little blurb on this one says Scandinavia now has its own Virginia Woolf. So that's also exciting. All right, next we have Colombia, and we have Of Love and Other Stories by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. This one is translated by Edith Grossman, and I'm so looking forward to this one. If you don't know, I don't think you can see it, but 100 Years of Solitude is the best book I've ever read. Wow, go do yourself a favor and read that book, and I cannot wait to get to the rest of Marquez's work because, yeah, of course, why would I not? This is also a really gorgeous edition. Look at this. And then the back has like her hair on it. Wow. This one is a novel. I think a lot of Marquez's novels, like Love in the Time of Cholera, I have like a slight idea of what they're about, but I don't really want to know because I went into 100 Years completely blind. Like the title gave me an idea of what it was about and then I was completely wrong, and I love that. So I think that's what I want to do with Of Love and Other Demons. All I know is that it is the story of a doomed love affair between an unruly copper-haired girl and the bookish priest sent to oversee her exorcism. I love it. I love it. I love it already. Chapter 1 begins, an ash-gray dog with a white blaze on its forehead burst onto the rough terrain of the market on the first Sunday in December, knocked down tables of fried food, overturned Indian stalls and loitery kiosks, and bit 4 people who happened to cross its path. That's Of Love and Other Demons. Next up we have Sudan, and we have Seasons of Migration to the North. There's so much hair in my mouth. This was also recommended to me by you guys, so thank you so much. This says on the back that it is an Arabian Nights in reverse. This one is about a young man who returns to his village again after some time away. I always love like these like coming back to things, and they're like so different because that's what so many of these books are about as well. But he spent many years studying in Europe. He comes back to Sudan and he finds that things are different. among these things that are different, there is a stranger who he's never seen before, and the stranger's name is Mustafa Saeed. They become friends. They become like really close friends, and as Mustafa starts to tell our protagonist about his life, he tells him about his life during, I think, World War I, and his life in London, that he was lionized by society and desired by women as an exotic novelty. Mustafa was driven to take brutal revenge on the decadent West and was in turn destroyed by it. So I think this is just going to be incredible. I haven't heard anyone really talk about this at all, but the cover as well is very intriguing, and this is again the modern classic edition, but this just sounds also so good. This one is translated by Dennis Johnson Davies, and it begins, "It was, gentlemen, after a long absence, 7 years to be exact, during which time I was studying in Europe, that I returned to my people." So I also love this one because it has like really nice big print, which is good for me and my eyeballs. So that is Season of Migration to the North. We have 3 more countries to go to. Where shall we travel first? Let's take a really nice flight to Sweden. We have Kallocain by Karen Boya. This is actually a gift. Thank you so much again. I've heard so much about Karen Boya at this point. I know this one is quite famous, definitely in the same vein as like Fahrenheit 451, Brave New World, all those dystopia, because Kallocain is about this society, and it's very much dystopian. She wrote this after witnessing at the beginning, or almost beginning, I think, of World War II, when she was in Germany, what was going on there, which prompted her to write this, which is just going to be insane. So yeah, it's written midway between Brave New World and 1984. We have this totalitarian state again called the World State, which seeks to just entirely crush and annihilate the individual. In this desolate, paranoid landscape of police eyes and police ears, the obedient citizen and middle-ranking scientist Leo Cal discovers a drug that will force anyone who takes it to tell the truth, and I believe Kallocain is that drug. Yeah, this is just gonna be like insane as well. This is a really cool cover. I believe this was the last novel she wrote as well, because I think maybe shortly after writing it, she overdosed and passed away. So I think this is just gonna be so much. This is translated from Swedish by David McDuff. And oh, it opens with a quote from The Wasteland by T.S. Eliot. "The awful daring of a moment's surrender, by this and this only we have existed." Chapter 1 begins, "The book I now sit down to write will inevitably appear pointless to many, if indeed I dare suppose that many will ever have a chance to read it. Since quite on my own initiative, without anyone's orders, I am beginning a task of this kind, and yet am myself not really clear about its purpose." So, yeah. All right, I had to include one from Canada in here. Of course I did. This won the Governor General's Literary Award. I actually found this in a little community book box. If you haven't seen my little library video, I highly recommend. I just had so much fun with that. This is The Break by Katarina Vermette. This is a story about Indigenous women, written by an Indigenous woman. Break is about a woman named Stella, and she is a young Métis mother who looks out her window one evening and sees someone in trouble on the break. So the break in this book, which is the title, is this kind of like isolated strip of land that's outside her house. It's just kind of super desolate, a wasteland. And so she calls the police and says that there's something going on. There might be a crime occurring here. So similar to hurricane season, this book also takes the perspectives and tells the reader from the different narratives and perspectives and views and minds of the people in this town what happened with this crime. We have police, family, and friends who tell their personal stories leading up to the fateful night. We have Lou, a social worker. We have Cheryl, who is an artist, Paulina, a single mother, Phoenix, a homeless teenager, and Officer Scott, who is a Métis policeman. And this is also a family saga, which I'm so excited about. I'm really excited to see how that part of it kind of weaves in, and it's also just such a gorgeous cover as well. This one starts with, "The Break is a piece of land just west of McPhillips Street." I honestly don't really that often get a chance to read books that are set in Canada, so this will be super interesting as well, and I cannot wait to read this. That is The Break. Finally, the last book we have here is from China. So we have some Chinese literature, and this is Ball Lightning by Cixin Liu. This is blurbed by Barack Obama on the front, so that's cool. This cover is absolutely insane. what is going on here? Already this year, actually, I read The Three-Body Problem by this author as well, which was incredible. So good. But Ball Lightning is a different novel altogether, but definitely dealing with the same kind of topics of physics and ethics and philosophy and politics and stuff like that, which is super interesting. So when Chen's parents are incinerated before his eyes by a blast of ball lightning, he devotes his life to cracking the secret of this mysterious natural phenomenon. He starts to travel kind of all over. He goes to these places. I think eventually he even ends up at like an old Soviet science station researching ball lightning. And on this trip to kind of discover more about this phenomenon and stuff like that, he does encounter different people, some people who want to help him, some people who want to hinder him and stuff like that. I think it's just gonna be such an interesting discussion. I've mentioned, I think, so many times that I love when science kind of takes this place in literature and then we use these like scientific principles and concepts to discuss literary things and life and humanity and stuff like that. So that is the last one. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tour. I hope you're well rested after the many flights that you took today all over the world. Look at you go. We traveled economy. You didn't have to pay a penny. And I know I will definitely be resting tonight really nicely after these flights on my Helix mattress. And once again, thank you so much for sponsoring this video, letting me talk about these beautiful books from all over the world. And once again, there is a link in the description box if you are interested in sleeping on a bed, which I believe we probably all are. So thank you guys so much for watching, and please, once again, a quick reminder to leave in the comments any countries you'd like to see in the next video, your thoughts on any of these books, any recommendations from these countries I've mentioned. Like, I just love it. I just love it when you guys do that. So yeah, I don't know which one. I'm definitely gonna finish Frankenstein in Baghdad first because this is just going incredibly, but I don't know which one to start next. So all right, I think that's it from me today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're doing wonderfully, and I will see you so soon in the next video. Ciao.